Personal selling offers an opportunity to sell a product face to face. It can be used to build relationships with new customers as well as current customers. The trend in personal selling is relationship selling, which involves building relationships rather than just making sales. The idea is to create a customer for life, not just for one transaction. This changes their approach in dealing with individuals to a softer sell. This slide presents the steps in personal selling. It starts with generating leads and then qualifying leads so only the customers most likely to respond receive a sales call. Others can be handled in a different way. The salesperson then needs to acquire information about the prospect. A sales presentation needs to be prepared and given. Handling objections and using a good sales closing are important in getting orders. To create a lifetime customer requires follow-up to make sure customers are satisfied with the product. Referrals are the best way to generate leads. A referral allows a salesperson to bypass the gatekeeper and gets them in to see the prospect. Experienced referrals are based on a company's work and comes from current and former customers. Expertise referrals is made by a non-client and is the result of a firm's expertise, knowledge, and knowledge for quality. Reputation referrals are based on the reputation a firm has within an industry. Network referrals are made through company personal networking with individuals through a variety of venues. Not all sales leads are good prospects. Many companies will hire other individuals to qualify prospects so salespeople can concentrate on making sales calls. Two dimensions are important when evaluating sales leads: potential income and probability of acquiring the prospect as a customer. Often, leads are categorized into 3 or 4 groups based on these 2 dimensions. Those in the best group, high potential income and high probability of acquiring, receive a personal sales call. Leads in the other groups can be handled through telemarketing, mailing out marketing materials, or other strategies that are less expensive. This slide shows the prospect categories as discussed in the previous slide. The purpose of the knowledge acquisition stage is to learn as much as possible about the company and the people the salesperson will be meeting. The more information the salesperson has, the easier it will be to make a sales call, and usually the more successful it will be. It is important to know who the prospect's customers are and to understand the type of business they are in. Identifying the prospect's needs in advance shows that the salesperson did his or her homework and is serious about the sales call. Consider the risk factors in switching vendors. If possible, identify the decision makers and influencers. Sales presentations can be grouped into 4 major types. The stimulus response approach is often called the canned approach because it consists of stimuli, designed to elicit specific responses from customers. It is used with telemarketing and sometimes with new salespeople. The need satisfaction approach strives to discover a customer's needs and then provide a solution to those needs. With the problem solution approach, employees from the selling organization spend time analyzing the prospect's business to identify the problems being faced and the solutions to them. With mission sharing, the 2 organizations work together for a common goal. The sales presentation almost always involves people at the very top levels of both organizations. Almost all sales calls will at some point create objections on the part of the buyer. Salespeople need to be prepared in advance to handle these objections. With the head-on approach, the salesperson answers the objection directly. With the indirect method, the salesperson sympathizes with the prospect and indirectly talks about how the product can meet the need without saying the prospect is wrong. In the compensation method, the salesperson will reply yes, but, and then explain how the product's benefits can overcome the objection being made. With the feel, felt, and found approach, the salesperson lets the customer talk about his or her fears and feelings and then responds with how the product can eliminate or reduce those fears. Closing a sale is important. Many salespeople fear this part of the sales call because of the fear that the customer will say no. 5 different sales closings can be used. The direct close, ask the customer for the order. The trial close seeks feedback to gauge the customer's willingness to buy without directly asking for an order. In the summarization close, the salesperson summarizes all of the benefits of the product and how it meets the needs of the buyer prior to asking for the order. The continuous yes close asks small questions along the way that require a yes answer when it comes time to ask for the order. The customer is more likely to respond with a yes. The assumptive close assumes the customer has decided to make the purchase and asks about the customer's preferred shipping and payment methods. International implications. Database marketing and personal selling face the same challenges as other IMC programs in the international arena. Differences in technology can be a huge factor in building and using a database. Laws and regulations vary in terms of direct response marketing. Local customs affect how personal selling is done, and the importance of formality and building relationships prior to the sales calls. Infrastructure can be used with direct response marketing as well as personal selling. This concludes Chapter 11, Database Direct, Response Marketing, and Personal Selling.